Sci-fi and fantasy today have come to dominate pop culture. Arguably one of the first such films to really make a significant impact to the industry has been the first Star Wars movie, which was released all the way back in 1978. More specifically, films that deal with stories beyond the mere surroundings and incidents that we are presented with here on Earth. The stars, universe, and beyond have come to intrigue the human mind more than anything else. Something that takes us beyond the blissful monotony of what Mother Earth provides us with is always an interesting experience. Even today, movies such as Interstellar, Gravity, and The Martian have continued to be a critical part of today's culture. The stunning visuals combined with the minimal yet intricate storytelling have made them popular amongst everyone, even your mom and dad. It is up to debate as to which movie in particular really kicked things off for this subgenre, but many would agree that Stanley Kubrick's 1968 masterpiece, 2001 A Space Odyssey, in many ways gave birth to it. Kubrick, known and loved by many, is often regarded as one of the most revolutionary directors to grace the industry. He's most notable for his need to control each and every aspect of the filmmaking process, from direction to cinematography to editing to writing, and the list goes on. A perfectionist who will settle for no less than the very best. This sheer dominance over every single discipline within the realm of filmmaking has led to him creating several timeless and genre-defining classics, namely A Clockwork Orange, Eyes Wide Shut, The Shining, and most notably, 2001 A Space Odyssey. It is difficult to summarize the central theme of the film within one sentence, as it covers a wide variety of concepts in a confusing yet thought-provoking manner. In the span of a couple of hours, the film attempts to tell us the story of evolution of all of humankind, from primitive creatures to an advanced civilization making its way to inhabit Jupiter, while also exploring the human mind's inherent greediness and selfishness. It shows us that despite the morally righteous dogmas that mankind proudly upholds, we are still unafraid to loot, pillage, and slaughter our own kind. In a time when a concept like artificial intelligence was practically unheard of, Kubrick doesn't just introduce it, but brings us all the way to the ultimate form of it, where it reaches full human-like consciousness. And what's the first thing the AI does after achieving this? Well, murder. We are also presented with hints of alien intelligence, which Kubrick cleverly simplifies with the existence of the monolith, a literal matte black cuboid. The theme of man sacrificing man is one I found particularly interesting. It all starts off during the dawn of mankind. We see apes fighting each other and a few moments later, murdering each other. This acts as a precursor to what we see later in this film, wherein we discover that the astronauts aboard the spaceship headed to Jupiter are kept unaware of vital, life-threatening information by the organizers of the mission.
Now that you are in Jupiter's space, and the entire crew is revived, it can be told to you. 18 months ago, the first evidence of intelligent life off the Earth was discovered.
It carries on to show us how easily we are willing to throw another one of our own kind right under the bus. Of course, not every human is going around slaughtering each other daily, but pain and suffering continue to exist. Despite being given the power to make change, we as a society seldom utilize tools such as compassion to help one another, unless we have something to gain from it or have some kind of an emotional attachment. The final form in which we see this sacrifice is when Hal, the artificial intelligence on board, calmly murders the three cryogenically frozen passengers. He later reveals the reason for it,
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
It's a tragedy that a being with power, if given human like consciousness, will invariably cause chaos for its own selfish needs, with little to no regard for others. The film ends with our main character and sole survivor, David, being thrusted into another dimension and finding himself in a room with his own self, but in different stages of his life. The final frame of the movie is somewhat representative of a baby in an embryo, accompanied by the monolith, vaguely indicating that the alien intelligence has decided to give humanity another try. This frame evokes the same levels of confusion, regardless of whether someone has watched this movie or not, which is in line with Kubrick's vision of allowing the audience to take away only what they can, without unnecessary spoon feeding. As Jan Harlan, the executive producer of Eyes Wide Shut, says,
it is much better to leave the end of 2001 and the whole story, in fact, as it stands, unexplained, as a bow to the unknowable.
eerie is a great word to summarize the kind of atmosphere Kubrick builds in this film, and a lot of it is done with the help of audio. The choice for music is vastly varied, where the highs of humanity are covered in a blanket of warm classical music. While the unsettling and eerie parts of humanity are covered in what can almost be described as noise.
All for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage like a four.
The audio editing, which includes smash cuts instead of your traditional smooth transitions, carries the point home further and is reminiscent of his other works such as In The Shining.
Come out, wherever you are.
From the very first shot here, we are presented with a beautiful orange sunset, which sets the tone for the rich and vibrant color pattern that is used throughout the film. The sheer focus placed on the use of perfectly complementary tones throughout the film is mammoth. 2001: A Space Odyssey is the perfect example of how brilliant lighting is not the sole factor for creating a pleasing image. Looking at what was behind the camera gives us a broader understanding and further proof of this fact. Kubrick goes beyond just the lighting, building sets from scratch, with every color of every object and every inch of the frame being premeditated and planned out. He extracts the most out of every last penny of his budget to access the best of what is available, but also going beyond that, innovating on every step of the way, quite literally inventing new ways to accomplish what he wants visually. When effort is put in, the effort deserves to be shown off, and this is exactly what Kubrick does by deciding to primarily utilize wider shots throughout the film. This shows the kind of confidence and planning that went into the set and production design. He reserves the close-ups only for very key specific moments, which results in them carrying even more value than close-up shots normally do. Here's a challenge. Open up the film on your computer, put it on full screen, and then arbitrarily move to a random timestamp and pause. With no hesitation, I can guarantee you that the frame that you stopped at will make for a great wallpaper. Even with the limited resources at hand, Kubrick has managed to create a film wherein every frame is wallpaper worthy, and this shows us that regardless of the tools given to them, a great painter will always make a great painting.